Hi, it's Raquel. Welcome back to Recovery to Wellness. This is where survivors radiate badassery. It is currently March 29th, 2025. I'm going to play some new, again, instrumental by Josh Woodward in the background, just so we have some noise going on. Hi. It's been a while. And I didn't leave you guys in a very good spot, did I? Oh no. I don't have this scripted. I don't even know what I'm gonna say, but I'm gonna try to update and just share, and hopefully we feel a bit better, right? I feel a lot better. So kind of just capturing this as a little update video. I'm planning to actually film it, and then I'm going to edit it and then upload it today. So it'll be a quick release into the wild, in a sense. I had filmed, my last video that I filmed and uploaded was what did I call it? I was just looking at it. I think it was I need to know someone's there or something like that. Yeah, a lot happened since then. That was, I think it was 3 weeks ago. I was honestly gonna make a video last week, but then I procrastinated, and then today was the first time I opened my laptop in over a week, almost 2 weeks or so, so I have not been on my laptop very much. I go on Reddit on my phone and YouTube and stuff on my phone, but I don't haven't been really making the time to work on editing videos or work on projects that I have or all of those kinds of things. So a lot of avoidance still, unfortunately. Apparently I just procrastinate a lot when I'm more myself. I procrastinate a lot, and still working on overcoming that. So anywho, so I think I filmed that video, I think it was the beginning of March. Let me pull it up on YouTube. I actually have 30 minutes that I can film on this camera right now, so which is, I thought I only had 20, so it was 3 weeks ago, but what, March 7th, gosh, and it's March, what, 29th now, right? Or is it, today's the 29th, right? Yeah, today's the 29th. So March 7th to March 29th. Okay, so I guess we have to actually talk about things, right? Yeah, that would be helpful to actually talk about the things, the important things. So when I made my video and I uploaded it that day, I'm really glad that I did that. I'm really glad because I got a really positive response. I got a really positive response. I didn't completely get as much of a positive response on Reddit, but that's a separate issue. But I got a mostly positive response, and I was able to talk with a few of you, some of my friends and things, and I'm really glad that I did that. When I woke up on Saturday, I think Friday, even though I was very labile, my emotional mood swings and everything, I definitely think part of it was my period. I was not well, but I was more I had the energy and I'm gonna get through it, everything's gonna be okay kind of thing, even though I was very emotional and such. I wish you could see more of my hair, but I can't really sit up any more than what I am right here. I guess you're getting quite a bit of the ceiling. I woke up Saturday. Saturday was full depression mode, full on depression. Anything that would normally take me a minute or 5 minutes to do physically, moving wise, was taking me 20 minutes to do. I was in really bad shape on Saturday, the Saturday following that Friday, on the 7th. And then it was sort of anytime I was just so in my head and so unwell, and I took a phone call with my therapist and I talked a little bit in that session, and she kind of helped me work a little bit on it. And then what I had been putting off to do on Friday was to call EAP, but I wound up calling EAP, which is Employee Assistance Program, through work. And I went to the library after my therapy session, and then I called EAP, and I didn't like how that conversation went too much, just because it was interesting because even though I was in such bad shape, I wasn't identifying as suicidal. And when I was having that conversation with EAP, I was it was becoming more of a crisis assessment in a sense, and I was I don't like where this is going. But I wound up doing that, and then I identified, okay, I would give away something that I had in my possession. And then I was a safety contracting and stuff too, which to me means a lot. Like, that means a lot when I do that. So I then like spent some time at the library, and then I went, like, I was crying in public. It was not good. And then I went home, and then I wound up sitting outside for a little bit, and it was cold out, but I was sitting outside, and then eventually I told my parents everything, and so then they got into the loop. And then honestly, my original decision, because I was supposed to have work Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, because that's my work schedule, and I took a shower. That was fine. I stopped moving for a little bit, and then I started crying again because I was very upset, and I was not myself, and I was just very, like, a lot of self-harm urges, a lot of, I mean, I still don't identify with it as being suicidal, but very much, like, I was pretty much, I talked to my mom. My mom was like, are you gonna go to work tomorrow? And I was like, it was basically like, am I gonna go to work, or am I gonna go to the ER and get hospitalized as a psych patient again? Like, I was pretty much like, I was like, well, I mean, I was thinking about it, and I was like, you know, the schedule was that we would have a NAMI presentation in the afternoon, so I was like, I would have an easier day, so I was like, I'll go to work, and then I'll take Monday off, and then reassess on Monday, and then go to, like, pretty much reassess on Monday and go to the hospital, in a sense. Like, that was the plan. So that became the original plan of, like, I go to work. If I can't get through the day, then I don't get through the day. But, you know, whatever happens, I'll go to, you know, come back home, reassess, go to the hospital, go get psychiatrically hospitalized. Because, again, I wasn't sleeping either. That was a huge thing. I was not sleeping, and that was not a good time. Anywho, so Sunday winds up happening, and also I gave away my thing to my mom, so it was out of my possession at that point, so I no longer had a method, pretty much. Then it was like, I went to work on Sunday, and overall, I didn't realize until later, especially on Tuesday of that week, how much of a risk it was to almost go to work and continue working in that kind of headspace. But I went to work on Sunday, and then we had the NAMI presentation, and then I actually talked to a patient, and it was a very interesting, pivotal moment, because I was talking to the patient, and while I was saying things to the patient, you know, it was almost like saying it to myself, like hearing it out loud, me telling somebody else these kinds of things was helpful and healing just for myself in a sense too, and it was really just impactful. And then I felt a lot better after that, and then I was like, okay, so, I mean, I still worked, like, a 10-hour day, but I got my shit done, and, like, things were, like, in the morning, it was tough and everything, like, I was kind of, like, you know, kind of still slow and stuff like that, but, like, overall, I got it done. It was cool. Then Monday came around. And Monday, so actually what happened was, on Sunday, since I had such a good day at work, I was like, I think I can actually, new plan, I can make it through my Monday and Tuesday shift and reassess on Wednesday, and then figure out what do I need to do, because thinking more than like a week span at a time was very difficult. So anywho, then Monday rolls around. I come into work on Monday, and one of my coworkers was like, oh my god, shit has hit the fan, and I was like, oh no. It was like this shit, like, I used to always talk about how, like, the unit, or like working at the psych hospital that I work at, Althea, you know, it was always like, the ship is sinking, but I'll be on the ship until the ship is down, and all this kind of stuff. And, you know, in the last few months, like, it was pretty much like, the ship no longer existed, and we were in a submarine, and, like, so we're in the submarine at that point. Anywho, I found out something really, like, huge at work, and then I'm like, oh, I was gonna go get hospitalized. I was like, oh my gosh. And then so this huge thing happened, and I'm like, I don't even know, like, what do I what do I do? I don't know. Like, so I got through the Monday shift. It was wild, and it was something. And then I think I called EAP again, because they called me back or whatever. So I wound up talking to EAP, and then finding out some different programs and stuff. Like, I wound up working with someone through that week to find out some other day programs or sort of like partial programs and things like that. You know, mentioning sort of the DBT kind of stuff and just kind of getting back into, okay, here's what options I have so that I can kind of get through the while. Anywho, then Tuesday happened. Tuesday was like, the start of Tuesday was fine. Like, it was pretty good. And then I hit 2:30 group on Tuesday, and like the shit it's fucking wild. I kick one patient out of group, and then I have the interpreter working with the patient, arguing with the patient the entire time of the group. I don't get through all my material. It was the wildest thing. Like, it was like, and then not only that, but then the group ended eventually in a sense, and then I had a patient coming up to another patient. I was getting in between them because I'm like, bro, you need to move down the hall. And then the patient starts being like, you're a bitch. Raquel's a fucking bitch. And like, it was why, and I'm like, dude, this is why. And then the fire alarm goes off, and then like it was like, I was like, oh my god, I'm totally done. I like, fuck this, like all that. But and then I wound up getting, because it was automatically, I'm like, high anxiety, high like emotion. I get an ice pack, I put it around my, not like around my neck like that, I put it on the back of my neck, and I'm like pacing the hall, like pacing the office. I tell everybody what's happening. Like, it was fucking wild. Like, it was, and then I like fully understood in that moment how much of a risk it was to have gone to work. But like, it was wild. But then also, not only that, I go back on the unit like an hour later, and the patient that swore at me apologized, and I was like, what the fuck is happening? So fucking wild. Like, so wild. Like, it was a day, and I was like, how did this even happen? And then I take a psychiatry phone call, and then blah blah whatever, and then like I started on, I think it was that night, I started on another medication. I believe I think it's an SSRI or like an antidepressant or something, just to kind of help boost the other antidepressants and everything. And so then I started on the new medication, and then like I don't remember what I did on Wednesday, but and then I wound up working the rest of the week. Like, I worked Thursday and Friday as scheduled, and then I think I talked to my boss, and my boss gave me off the next Sunday coming up, that Sunday coming up. So I wound up, you know, kind of going back into books and stuff and just reading, and then I found out some more EAP information about the day programs and stuff. And then I wound up buying a book, which I actually have, I think, with me, that I'll show you in a moment. And yeah, and then I didn't work on Sunday, and then I think it was like that Sunday I had about 5 or 6 hours of my time that I procrastinated. But overall, I like played some video games, I read a book for a little bit, I did a bunch of things. So let me double check. What date was that? That was, so it was the 16th that I had off, I believe. And then, yeah, like, what a time. And since then, it was like, so I like, yeah, it was, it's fucking wild when it was. But I ordered this book, where did it go? And I ordered a book, and then I wound up getting it in the mail in the last week or so. And I've looked through it a little bit, but I haven't fully looked through it. And I wound up accessing a couple things through employment. So there was a couple apps. There was Headspace. So I have the Headspace app now. I also have, I don't know if I want to like mention what it is, because I think it's more specific to work, but I found another app. It's actually pretty good. I didn't realize until like last week or so, or even this past week, how helpful it is. But it's like an 8-week program, and you sort of work with a coach on various skills. There's like modules and things like that. There's homework assignments in a sense too. So I've been working on that. I had to work on it again for this week because I'm like 3 weeks into it now. 8-week program, so I got to work on that. But I went through like definitely 2 modules. I'm in the 3rd module. It's like the coping with stress kind of one. And so I'm working right now about like SMART goals and like kind of coming up with like assessments and such. And then actually just this week, one of the patients mentioned it to my coworker, the app Finch, and my coworker, is that an ambulance? Yeah, there's like an ambulance or a police car coming. Police car. So my coworker had gotten the recommendation of Finch, and Finch actually has a subreddit and stuff too, so if I can remember I'll link it down below. I just joined the subreddit. And I've been working on that now too, and it's kind of like a goal setting, sort of like self-care goal setting kind of stuff, and it has different soundscapes, and like there's the free module, and then there's also like you could pay for like a more in-depth kind of module, but you don't have to. And so I've been working on Finch for the last 5 days, and that's been really exciting. I have my little burb, and her name is Puddle, and you know, it's cool. So I've been doing that, and let me grab out that DBT book, because I bought this. I actually think it would be a great resource to have at work if we get a work copy kind of thing. But this one I bought just for me. It's DBT for Life by Diana Partington, 2024, and it has all sorts of sort of like illustrations and DBT kind of information and stuff, and I'm gonna read it and get back into DBT through this book, which will be great. I think it's really cool. I'm actually gonna use my notebook with this new one I got. This will be the notebook I write, you know, any of my assessments or skill breakdown or whatever. It's supposed to have like illustrations to kind of make it so that you can use DBT skills and apply it to life kind of thing. So I'm very excited for that. I got back into some book reading. I have so many book reviews that I have to film. I've decided, I think I got about like, I'm gonna pay off like another half of my credit card before my next due date. And then doing that, I'm going to spend money to buy the actual, hopefully legitimate SanDisk memory card, SD card for my camera. So I'm gonna buy I believe I'm still gonna buy a 512 one, so it's about $150, so that is quite expensive, but I'm gonna make that investment so that I have more space for my filming stuff and being able to actually use it and use the entire thing in a sense. So I'm planning to do that. I'm planning on continuing work with I'm on the SMART goals module right now, which is important. I'm like decent at making SMART goals, and I should actually make it today too, because I have a group tomorrow to do on SMART goals, so that'll be important. But I also have been working on that, so I gotta work back on that again. I'm working on Finch stuff, which is helpful, and like you get like little rewards and things like that when you do it, and there's all sorts of, it's like really, really great actually, really cool. And then it's like updating Reddit stuff. Oh, I got my first ever hate comment on Reddit. That was interesting. That was an experience. I think that happened Wednesday. I think that was the Wednesday that was something that happened. I think it was like I had a therapy session, and then was it the 12th maybe? So, and then I haven't really posted again on Reddit since then, but also I haven't been on my laptop at all since then, so like it's just not been something I've done. But what is the lesson? What is the lesson of this video? So around that time, even with the hate comment and stuff, and then, I mean, like I think it was kind of more of a, I don't know, it was my first ever hate comment in the 15 years I've been online, but certainly not the last. So, you know, definitely, I think, so other things that happened, was it the 19th that I had a NAMI presentation? Was it last week or was it before then? I also did a NAMI presentation. I think it was the 19th. Yeah, I wound up doing 2 NAMI presentations on the 19th. And then I went to a bookstore afterward, which was a really nice bookstore. And I bought a couple books, and then I went to the library, and then I did a bunch of things. I think that was the week I didn't work on Sunday. And that was really good too. I wound up pulling out my eyebrows that Friday, so less good in that sense. But I got back into books. I did some NAMI stuff. I was offline pretty much because I was away on that. And then this past Wednesday, I was away. I was getting my car fixed, and then I went to get my crown done for my teeth. So it was like a bunch of stuff. So I've been busy. I've been back to myself. It took a week of being in crisis before I started to kind of get back to being myself. Also, once I slept, changed the game. Like, I think it was that next Friday that I slept and, like, felt more human again. Like, or it was definitely a Friday, because I don't think I worked on Friday, right? That Friday that I filmed the video and uploaded it, yeah, the next Friday I slept and I felt like I'm human again. Like, I felt like myself. And so back to sleeping and such. I know the new med that I've started on can cause drowsiness and weight gain, and so I don't think I've really felt the drowsiness necessarily, but it's like a med that I take at night, and then I think maybe I'm having some effects from it, but I don't know for sure. I think it's still too kind of early to tell. I missed my psychiatry appointment this past week because I forgot that I had it, and so I've rescheduled it for Monday. I was supposed to have a therapy session today, but then my therapist rescheduled last minute, which doesn't tend to go very well for me, unfortunately, whenever that happens. It's just procrastination-wise, but overall, I'm a lot happier. I am back to being myself. I feel life is great. Life is amazing. Life is great. Things are great. And like, so there's still the little smaller things or even kind of some bigger things that I have to work on. The main thing though is that I'm working on it and I'm trying to figure it out. Like, I think today was the first day I woke up at like 7:45 again in the morning, which is great because I really want to keep doing that. So overall, work's been wild, but like, work hasn't been as wild since then, in a sense. At least not groups wise, but things are shifting and changing, and I am able to better handle it and get through it and figure it out. And so I'm planning to upload this video tonight, get that done, get you guys something of an update. One of my friends, Fisherman, was like incredibly worried about me. I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like, I just haven't been prioritizing, I guess, YouTube stuff a little bit, and like, or at least my channel again. So I want to get back into prioritizing that and getting back into videos and such. And hopefully also when I get that new SD card in the mail, actually be able to film more. And I have to go back and figure out how to reshoot like 3 book reviews. It's going to be a pain in the ass, but gonna get this video out. I am safe, I am happy, I am healthy, and I am doing better. And work overall, since then, like the patient that I had that conversation with wound up discharging this past week, and you know, I talked to them a few other times, and I got some ideas for like other groups, and I haven't actually finished a new group in a while, but I have some props. I have some new props for them. And then also I wound up hanging out with a couple of my coworkers that next Saturday after, you know, the Saturday where I felt really depressed, and I did that. We went to Hobby Lobby, I bought some stuff. I have to maybe one day film a haul about it. I don't know, maybe not, I don't know. But things are really good again, and my parting words, I suppose, if there's anything to take from this lesson, is that there are options, there are paths ahead, even if I can't see them right now, in a sense. And there is more to come, more in store, and the bad times or the difficult times or the hard times will likely come again, and so too will they pass and recede, and the sun will come back out again as well. So that is my lesson. That's the update, is that things are really great again. I just narrowly managed to not get psychiatrically hospitalized. I hope that my work on myself and getting into that DBT book and continuing with the apps, the Finch app, and then also this other app that I'm working on with the 8-week program, and then also just finding, I think I want to you know, configure some stuff to get back into a DBT program. Not like a DBT program, but there's an option that I found that was told to me from EAP that I could, you know, has some potential. So overall, life is great. Life is amazing. And I'm working on some book reading stuff. I have so many books. I genuinely have far too many books out right now from the library, but I really want to work on actually reading again and getting back into that kind of habit. So that's the next sort of plan. And I also really want to make some SMART goals about actually rewatching and getting fully back into the MCU, because I think that would be really helpful. So there's just so much to do. So much to do, so much to say, so much to explore, so much to just have a whole like time with. And if you have any video ideas for me to do that you want to see, or like types of videos that you want to see soon, let me know down in the comments. Let me know on the subreddit. I want to try to film a video soon for the subreddit and just be like, hey, the subreddit that exists and such. So all this kind of stuff, and I'm planning to do a lot more in store and more to be put out there again. I have to really work on actually opening my laptop again more consistently throughout the week and just get back into doing that. So that will be really important. So again, hopefully it'll be helpful once I get my new SD card that is actually 512 gigabytes and not a counterfeit SD card, but we'll go through the whole process. So anywho, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for engaging. Thank you for just being around and everything. Thank you for everybody who sent me well wishes, and also I guess, I don't know if I want to thank the hate comment, but it was an interesting time. It was the first time. It was an interesting time. It will not be the last time. And just kind of, I think it's actually more, this is a video that I can think about doing for sort of advocacy work, because I think it's actually more brave to talk about mental health online than it is to do it in real life, in a sense. I think that's an interesting sort of group in the sense of like a video idea to talk about at the in the future. I'm running out of time. So, okay, very long video. So, long video is very long, but that is the video. And as always, stay safe. As always, stay safe. Much love and light to you. That is my tagline. And I will see you in another upload in the future. Let's make it to be next week. And, ooh, I could actually add YouTube videos as my goals on Finch and such too, so I will do that for sure. Anywho, thank you so much, and let me know what you thought in the comments, and don't worry, everything's great again. And when it's not great, I'll come back and we'll figure it out. It'll be a whole thing, but we'll figure it out. I'll get through it. It'll be okay. So that's the ending message. So thank you so much. Okay, bye. Guiding like a lighthouse to I will leave the light